Hey, what do you say there, my Google Plus, Instagram, Pony Express, your sister's ass? Oh, that's Ticked Off Vic. That's Vic T. Potato. Look him up. He's a pretty funny guy on Facebook. But anyways, I watch him a lot, so I copied his intro. My title for this video should be something like, when the going gets tough, when you start getting frustrated, think it through. Think it through. Frustration gets to you. Don't get frustrated, because I'm telling you, there's always a way. There's a solution hiding around your thoughts, and that's my bit of learning on this last trip. I was at a shipper, and frustration started to get the best of me, which is a lifelong thing of mine. If I'm a little tired and my thinking capacity, I start getting a little ticked off on things, my capacity to understand things shrinks and shrinks and shrinks without me knowing it. And next thing you know, I'm swearing, I'm cursing at people. If I'm hot and sweaty, it adds to the frustration, and everything starts like a vicious cycle of me imploding, exploding, whatever's gonna, and that's, who cares, but you're not moving forward. Things aren't getting done properly. And I know that, haste makes waste. More things break, you get more frustrated. I know at 40 years old, what I've learned along the way is that, you really can't go down those roads, because it's a dead-end road to destruction. So today, as I was loading, I was getting frustrated, and it was all the same things. I was hot, and sweat pouring down my face, wearing that stupid mask. I was on a very limited bit of sleep. Last night's load, I got 3 hours along the way, and then after I dropped off, I tried to get some daytime sleep, which is always harder. And the van heated up so hot, I was cooking in here, and so that being said, I didn't have much sleep, and I got woken up out of the sleep I was getting that I had a load, and kind of good, kind of bad. It was the good news. It was not too far away, so a short drive. I had plenty of time to get there, and it's going long miles, which is like so-so. That's money in my pocket, so that's good. I needed a long trip to round out this week and fill out my miles, so my paycheck is once again pretty substantial, and it's going to someplace cool. New Mexico is not the same old run to Texas, so I love New Mexico. It's one of my favorite states to drive through, so okay, not bad. Driving 24 hours is not my favorite thing to do, but I've got plenty of time to get there. There's the bill of lading says I've got an extra day. The dispatch office tightened it up by one day. I think they just try to get you to go there without getting a hotel room and a hooker and everything. No, I'm just kidding. But just, stopping to see your friend, or dilly-dallying, stopping at a state park, whatever you're going to do when you got all kinds of extra time. So I'm going to try to get there as fast as I can, but now, once the playing field is opened up a bit with that time, I feel relaxed getting there. I don't feel like I got to drive all night. This is going to be another hell run. So you should never feel like that anyways, because it's really not how it is. They try to keep that angle, because that keeps drivers on point. The drivers that like to, fool around on the road. So, I'm feeling comfortable with the load. I didn't know too much about that, but here's the big thing. The big question was this: when I got the load, it lists how many skids there are, and there was some initial apprehension because it says 3 skids. So, it was from there. It was a game of fortunately, unfortunately. Like, I used to have this book that, is this thing not recording? I think it's recording. I don't know if it's recording or not. Yes, it is. Okay, sorry. I couldn't see the readout there. It's too much glare. Okay, so Fortunately or unfortunately, he had this book, and with each page, it had good news and bad news, good news and bad news. So that was how this load went. I got in there, I asked the people, I said, hey, they were ready to load me early, ding ding, because it said don't arrive until 7 o'clock. I got there at 3 in the afternoon, and they were ready to go, so that was cool. A nice calm operation, wasn't hectic. There were people right there ready to communicate with me, so very good, clean. The packages don't smell, so not dusty, so very good. But there were 3 skids. Now the question is, can they stack? Because if I can stack one on top of the other, I can fit 2 skids with the bed down. I normally don't worry about the bed down unless you're doing something like a 24-hour trip to New Mexico. You're going to need a bed at some point, and you're going to try not to get a hotel room. So, sorry. I'm just looking at another driver, sorry. So, I got there, and there's 3 skids indeed, and they can't stack. Uh-oh, there's a problem. But then there's good news. Hey, these 2 skids here are half size, so they'll fit in the space of 1, so it should be like 2 skids. Good news, right? Well, they get them all loaded in the van, and what do you know? They don't fit. There's just a couple inches shy of fitting perfectly, so I have to lift the bed up. Not good. So that was my initial frustration, because then I start thinking, they're sending me on a 24-hour trip, no fucking bed. I hate sleeping in the driver's seat. What are they putting me through? What are they doing? My mind starts getting into like this terror mode where it's like just doesn't think of anything positive, and it's cutting down everyone in the I can think of that's got something to do with the situation, and that's not good. And when I figured out my solution, I realized it was unnecessary. So I realized that when I did figure out my solution, that I had to, if I get those frustrated feelings, just wait. Don't give in to the initial frustration. Like, that's it. We're fucked. God darn it. I'm done. Son of a bitch. World's ending. Just wait a minute. Because when I thought it through, I said, wait a minute. I've been forgetting about something with these bed up loads. That many times you can put your bed on top of the frame. In this particular situation, there's just enough for the bed. There's a little bit of overhang. It's not going to be perfect, but it's doable. And they're not so tall that it's not a lot of room between me and the top of the van, but I'll be able to squeeze in there when I need to sleep. Some bad news is, hot air rises, so that's going to be the hottest part of the van. But if I plan my sleep time right between about 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., or 2 a.m. and 7 a.m., that's the coolest time of the day. And lately at night, we're getting, I should be in places that are in the 70-degree range, so if I can find someplace safe to leave the windows down, I should be okay heat-wise. I got a neat little fan I can use, battery-powered Lowe's fan. I definitely recommend it. You should get one of these. I'll lift it up for you. From Cobalt. You can find these at Lowe's, Home Depot. They take a battery. It'll set you back a little bit at first, but it's a great deal. I got 2 batteries, so it was $100 and something for both batteries. But while one is running the fan, the other one is charging, so I haven't run out of fan yet. And they'll both last around 5 hours on medium and, well, maybe almost up to 7 hours on lower medium, and then maybe 5 hours on high. So that's pretty good. Okay, dealing with traffic here. So that was the first bit. I said, okay, You're going to fold your bed up, but you're going to be okay. You're going to have your bed. Just put your mattress on top. I would usually normally fold the mattress up so it's like this behind me at like a wall. Not a bad thing, but there were some instances I did that when I didn't have to do that. I could have set it on top of the freight. I was just frustrated when I set it up and allowing the situation to take advantage of me instead of me controlling the situation. So, I got my bed, my mattress now, and a blanket on top of the freight. A good deal. I'll hop up there when I need to, and, if their boxes might crush a little bit, but not really my problem, and I don't think it's going to be that bad. So, I don't think it's anything fragile listed here, so we're good to go in that regard. I'm not that heavy. All right, so the second frustration then, we got the bed up, he tucked the pallets in a little deeper, and everything fit in the van. Now, when I was given this van, make sure that when you get your van, you get 2 sets of brackets for wood. Not just 2 brackets. That would be 4 brackets, so you can put a piece of wood in front of and behind. I think he messed up. I think he probably thought I had 4 because I have 2 pieces of wood, but I only have 2 brackets. And so that's allowed some of my stuff to slide forward, but not backwards. And they're not the greatest things either. They tend to they get mine already bent. Some of the freight was trying to push it out of the E-tracks. I should probably try to get some new ones that fit a little better at my expense, of course. I'm sure if I stopped by, I don't own this van. If I owned the van, I would be the one buying all the stuff and writing it off at the end of the year. But the owner of the van is, more than accommodating and welcomes me to, if I'm, stopping, if I'm near where his home residence is, I can stop by and, request some extra things here and there if I need more tie downs or whatever I need, and he's got them. He'll gladly throw them at me, but I'm not always. As a matter of fact, it's probably one of the rarest places I've been by is up by in the northern Ohio. So cruising down the 90, Ooh, 90, waving someone over. Always let people over. I don't try to hog the lanes. There's no sense in doing that. Okay, so, but if I'm driving frustrated, I might be a jerk like that. So there's another good reason not to be frustrated. Once the pallets were loaded, the bed was up, everything fit inside, and I realized even all the stuff that I usually, when the van is fully, stocked up in the back, everything's got to get. I take a guitar, a laptop with me, and a little amplifier. All that's got to get packed up into the front here, and I'm overloaded. I can't see my mirrors. It's nuts. But I realized that there's going to be some extra room behind the seats with this load. So as long as I keep the some way for the pallets from coming forward, I got room to put everything in the back there. The bed's up. I'm not really going to have a problem. So then I was like, oh, that's a non-issue. I was getting frustrated over nothing. So that was problem solved. The final problem I had was then I knew that I wanted to keep, here was another one I had to solve. On my last load, the freight really was trying to bend those brackets that hold the board. These brackets fit into what's called the E-tracks in the back. You'll know what they are once you start, if you haven't started already and you're watching this video. They wanted to bend my brackets out of the E-tracks, so it bent. All the little tabs were screwed up because of this last load was trying to just bust right through that stuff because I couldn't get the front end. On that one, I couldn't get the tie ropes on the front, so the tie straps, so the load would move forward on braking and then slide backwards, and it kept on slamming into that board in the back. Good news, it wasn't slamming into the doors, because that will cost you thousands of dollars in broken doors, because those doors won't hold 3,000 pounds slamming into them, or 1,500 pounds or even 800 pounds slamming into them constantly. So the the brackets were messed up. I thought for a second, and I said, you know what though? The other day I bought myself a cheap pair of vice grips to fix something else. I can't even remember what it was now, but I was at the store and I needed some kind of wrench. Oh yeah, to get a new inverter hooked up. And what they had there was vice grips, and I thought, you know, that wouldn't be a bad idea to have a little mini set of vice grips for $2 at Walmart. I said, all right, let's grab those. So I knew I had them, and I knew where they were, but I could barely reach them with the freight in the way. But I had to take off my hat, take off my sunglasses, squeeze, feel around in a little area a little shelf area where I keep things, and barely see behind in a gap, and I got them. I grabbed something, and there they were in my hand. Awesome. So I fished out, because I thought I wasn't going to be able to reach them. It's another part of being, I was frustrated. I'm like, oh, fuck, man. Now I can't get those. Well, you know, then they were in my hand. Then it was, will these work? And with a lot of finagling, grabbing them, squeezing them tight, I was able to muscle and bend all the little tabs back into shape. Good. So I got my brackets working a little better. Not perfect. They're still kind of loose, and I think I'm just going to buy a new set. See if I can get maybe a better set that kind of locks in a little beefier, maybe a better quality set. And I set them up in the front of the freight this time to keep them moving forward, because there seems to be... Alright, the guy ain't gonna let me over. You can kiss my ass, motherfucker. And I let these people get over without a signal on. Especially, you know what? It seems like if you're following a pickup truck drivers fucking are too macho to use their fucking turn signal. It's a thing with them, because I rolled around on my last job. Well, I don't want to incriminate anybody. And there's something about people in pickup trucks not using their turn signal, man. There's a lot of drivers that actually skip out on using it, but it's almost across the board. You got your kind of Ram Tough, your Chevy full size, that they're not going to use your turn signal. I don't know why. So it's a kind of thing. Only wussies use their turn signal, but I'm putting a lot of frustrated attitude into it, but it's annoying. Just be safe. Use your turn signal. It's so easy. It's like, you know. Okay, so 23 south, left lane. I don't want to be in the left lane. Well, that being said, there's a pickup truck in front of me, and he's using his turn signal. Alright, so Evadoodle.
In half a mile, continue straight to stay on US 23 South.
It said left exit. My guess is... yeah, that would be... this lane would have continued. I didn't have to get over it. Sometimes you just don't know better.
Continue straight to stay on US 23 South.
Okay, so... here we are, continuing US 23 South.
Continue for 9 miles.
Now the guy left the signal on. So there's a pickup truck with a non-stop signal on. Okay, so the final thing then, I got the board in the front, but now what about when I accelerate and my freight now wants to try to bang through the back doors? I was just like, and I wanted another strap around the front of the, because that board isn't so great, and these boxes are only held on by wrapping tape. If I have a hard front end impact, I got death coming at me from the back here. Like knowing what a tissue box would do from Oh, what a bunch of assholes. Knowing what a tissue box would do from Mythbusters. I just got some unusual traffic here. Everyone's going at different speed. So, knowing that these are got some weight individually, I don't want the stuff flying forward at me should something happen. So, I knew I wanted to strap around the containers, which still isn't really nothing. Is still I'm unprotected here, but it's better than nothing. So, I knew was going to need 2 straps to do that. I could barely reach my straps, but I reached in and I got them. Yeah, you're going to have to wait. Sorry, bro. You got your USA flag mask on, and you don't need it because you're driving. But maybe you just left it on like I do sometimes when you're at a store. You just forget about it and leave it on. Coronavirus, if you're watching this in the future. It's 2020. Okay, so... Well, long story short, I was able to once again calm my head, reach in, grab 2 straps, and hook them up in the front, throw the rope over the freight. It got to the back. It was still draped over. The guy put the last skid in backwards, so it was hard for me to get over the boxes because the straps didn't make it all the way to the back. I had to try to reach, so I had to try to jump over the freight. It was a nightmare. I can't really describe it. It wouldn't work without pictures anyway, so let's just say it was hard and pissing me off, and I was pouring with sweat at this point. And now I'm starting to swear at the forklift driver under my breath, thinking, what a fucking asshole. Could have spun the fucking... People are so goddamn dumb, you know? It's not really necessary to think like that, because at the end of the day, I got creative. I put some muscle into it. I found an old box of something I was throwing away, used that as a step so I could just barely get over the freight, grab the orange straps, get them over to the hooks on the van, then work it so I had to reach way in there and try to get the things tight and the ratchets closed. I could just barely do it with one hand. I'm trying not to get the thing. With one hand, I thought it was going to be impossible, and I was just going to fucking leave it because I was so frustrated. But I persisted, and at the end of the day, I was rewarded with a strap going all around the freight, holding it to the back of the van. Good. But now, what about when I go forward and it wants to all shift backwards? And let me tell you, it doesn't matter how heavy the freight is, it'll shift backwards because the van sinks down when you accelerate, so it creates a little less weight. There's less friction from the pallet on the tracks there, because the tracks are a little higher than the plywood, so it's not pallet to plywood with a lot of friction. It's pallet to E-track, which doesn't have as much friction, so they slide in easy, but they'll slide backwards easy, especially when the ascent sinks down and there's less basically gravity on the less weight, less friction on your rear pallet. It slides backwards. So I needed some way to keep it there, and I was just going to put a piece of wood there and shut the door, and there was still a gap, and I'm like, this is going to slam into the back. I'm pissed off. I don't like this load. I know what's going to happen no matter how hard I try. And then I was like, wait a minute. You've got 2 hooks available here. If you reach in really hard and try, you can probably get one more strap. And if you can grab that strap, you can tighten up the strap from hook to hook on each side of the van and create a barrier for the pallet to go backwards on. Your problem is solved. And I wasn't thinking of this because I was getting so frustrated, but until I just put my frustration aside and thought, is there anything else I can do? And there was. So that was the big point of today's video, that because it wasn't occurring to me at first. I was just pissed off, ready to say everyone was a jerk. The people that made me go to Albuquerque without a bed were jerks, and The forklift driver who couldn't consider the right way to put the freight in was a jerk, but
In 2 miles, take exit 4AB for US 24 toward Memi, Napoleon.
at the end of the day, that wasn't the case. Everybody was okay. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. There's my 36-minute video. We'll get this uploaded and we'll go from there. So the moral of the story is, especially when you're new and you're maybe not new to the frustrations of this job, don't let it overtake you. Just wait it out. You're gonna find out there's a solution, and you can persist so much more and turn this job into a viable career. And don't be one of those guys that just gets eaten up by the frustration of the job. Because I've seen guys come and go that couldn't take the issues, and everything was just this jerk, that jerk. Everyone's out to get me kind of thing. So, all right, I think you see what I'm saying. Enjoy your frustration-free drives out there, and I wish you guys a lot of luck if you're trying this job out. Have a good day.